Well, morning, sports fans. Or shall we say, fans of the fandom. Yeah, you notice I got this thing on here. See my face? Okay. The things you collect while being a fan of a show. We were John C. Treknut, Roseman, California. It is Wednesday, July 22nd, 5 o'clock in the morning. It's great. So, a couple of hours, we're going to have a Comic-Con virtual thing happening. And Comic-Con, basically, is a virtual. I'm sorry about this. I am just trying to get things hooked up here. You know, daily $1 short, but screw it. But there's a lot of things I wanted to talk about concerning about fandom at this point over here because it does affect me a great deal because I grew up in a world of fandom. And being a fan of a lot of shows, one would think that collecting a bunch of stuff would be worthwhile. Well, you'd be right half the time in the first place. The rest of the time is trying to figure out what the hell you wanted to do in the first place. You notice this big bag here. My brother used to be a Swift driver a long time ago. Bag is helpful because it contains a lot of fandom stuff, primarily of the metallic wearable kind. Pins. Be a Disney fanatic. Restarted a pin collection a long time ago that I had to sell off because of survival purposes. When I start looking at these things as mere collectible items for future savings and that's it, fine. But when you deal with a reality situation, you look at everything as just sellable. That's what I looked at, some of the stuff I had lost. But I also managed to gain stuff as well. And I found out that pin collecting was a passion of mine, a great deal. In the fandom genre out there, they've got pins concerning about representation of their shows and stuff that people have gone through. Go over to Universal Studios Hollywood and you'd collect a pin of the Gryffindor. And for me, it would be Disney. Or if you're in the Marvel Universe, you happen to recognize that thing. So yeah, being a fan, I collected a lot of stuff. When I was growing up as a kid, it was a bunch of stuff. Sorry, I've got stuff sliding around all over the damn place, and I have to make sure I've got things going on. This is not a very coherent, pleasant conversation. It's just another one of those weird-ass conversations saying, well, you get on with it, schmuck. Oh, yeah. Very much so. Recent acquisition. If anybody recognized this, hold up, let me get it. You'll probably put this on pause anyway, but if you recognize that. Yeah. As I said before, I collect a lot of pins. I've been collecting different pins left and right, and some of the genres I am just fascinated with. My main thing, I'm getting to it right now. bunch of pins I have stored in the box. Oh, Battlestar Galactica. Both of the original and of the remade series. Cringe if you must. I always loved the collar pins that they had. You think this is a QVC show? This is a demonstration of fandom at this point over here. Nice pin, isn't it? So fandom would go when you're a crazy person. Yeah. The black and white, actually the black and gold emblem of the Battlestar Galactica. Probably Blue Squadron if we're lucky enough on that one. And again, you've got, I had to say the remake, right? Get it? See? Okay. No, I'm not selling the pins. I'm collecting them until I get to the point where I am going to sell the pins. And then after that, let's see. Probably that's the funeral costs anyway. And that's what I was saving these damn things for in the first place. Funeral costs and everything else, because fandom costs too damn much money. But anyway, I have to keep it down. All right? This is a magnet. The magnetic base on it. So I'm just going to show this in this light. Okay? Away from the magnetic stuff. The recent pins that they got to put on you. If they only had this damn thing about 20, 25 years ago at the convention, I would have been able to wear this damn thing and have fun with it. But no, it don't happen to me, does it? No. Sure doesn't. So, it's off crooked. The latest one they've got out there, or the recent one I collected. I love when they get these handmade ones. Pretty nice, I swear. Well, it shows you what kind of shows I've been watching these days. I mean, I'm sorry I don't have the Space 1999. I'd like the Space 1999. But I'm just trying to demonstrate something over here concerning about fandom at this point. Besides collecting the junk, people would call these things junk. And a long time ago, they call these things damn things junk. You know they actually got Bluetooth out there? Yeah, Bluetooth devices concerning about Star Trek things. I am so behind the curve, it is scary as hell. But you catch your drift. I mean, I collected military, I collected space pins, weird-ass pins left and right, just for collection. I just wanted to show you some of the stuff that a fandom would go all out for. Simply put, because he's a fan. He's addicted. He needs 12-step programs. Or he really does. At least this one does, anyway. But they don't have a 12-step thing regarding fandom. That's the problem. But I just wanted to say something concerning about the fandom in the first place that I'm used to. Growing up as a kid, when Star Trek came out, yeah, I was interested in the shows. I was born in '66. Star Trek debuted in September of '66. Except I was months older than Star Trek when it debuted. It lived 3 years. I had lived 3 years and saw the lunar landing. Changed a hell of a lot of my perspective. And the sci-fi shows were just sci-fi shows. I watched the Star Lost when I was out there, the Canadian film of it. I had watched UFO at Bishop. Commander Straker, actually, of Shadow Control. Doctor Who, a long-living and outlasting show that was a precursor to Star Trek and Star Wars, and still ongoing to this day. I mean, we're talking well over 50-year genre here, and that is excellent. Sorry, I don't have any Hovian stuff with me. I don't have any TARDISes, and I don't have a wand, no sonic screwdriver. Too damn expensive and too rare to get these days, except for cheap imports, and they suck. But I was always trying to do a little blog for myself concerning about fandom at this point over here. I've noticed how changes they've made into it. I've noticed that clubs had grown from their genres, and you had costume display people so professional they called themselves cosplayers. You had Japanese animation called manga, and creations of Comic Cons, Wonder Cons. In fact, there's going to be a Comic Con starting up in about a couple hours, as I mentioned before. I hadn't been to a convention, an actual convention, God knows how many decades. I'm so out of it. I'm so out of the whole damn thing. I collected merchandise, yeah, through mail order, because I like collecting the merchandise and sometimes displaying it in public. And in private, I just keep it in storage. Too damn ashamed to show it to a hell of a lot of people out there, because I probably still consider me a geek and a nerd. And sometimes, I tell you something, growing up as a kid, it was the most harmful thing a kid could ever be called. A geek and a nerd. It was a social stigma. I mean, you couldn't go anywhere without being called a geek or a nerd. So either you celebrated and you said, hell with them, or else you hid it away like I did. Or hung out with a group of them, and there was safety in numbers. We were all groups. We were all geeks and nerds in high school. And growing up as a kid, I went to my first convention out in '74 when it was at the LA Convention Center. Got a few merchandise out of them too. No, I'm not putting them on display, but I heard the actors talking about stuff. I saw the merchandise they had. Oh my God, I think I was driving my brother insane with my requests. So every time there was a convention close by in Southern California, growing up within my 20, 25, and almost 30 years of adulthood, from a 10-year-old fanatic, insane lunatic kid to I was 30 years old, genre was my life. Fandom was my life. I had to collect. I had to get stuff. I had to go to conventions. I had to. I was an addict of the damn stuff, okay? I mean, there's only so much of the fandom stuff you can actually go through without having your brains warped out. I've seen clubs, I've been through clubs, a few of them, that had a hell of a lot of differences that I could not relate with. And because of that, I know a few clubs got out of business. There was a radio show at one time, in my mid-30s. There was a problem with this one. Maybe I was part of the problem, or ego, I don't know. But they talked about a certain favorite. They talked about a certain favorite genre and the studios involved with it. I'm not going to leave any names. But the host saw my enthusiasm for about a year or two, because of how many calls I kept making to her every single week. Invited me on the show once, and fandom overload. I wanted to get involved in something bigger than myself. Something clicked in the audience out there that they kept calling more and more and wanted to be more and more part of the show, but I was scaring the living crap out of the host. I got invited the second time, and the third time I just showed up. But the general manager over there was talking to my brother, my big brother, about the situation And during the break, some stuff was said. And next thing, before I know it, I'm out of there. I'm pissed off as hell and can't come back anymore. Next thing I know, the show's canceled. I was a contributor to it. I thought I was a long time ago. Or maybe was I a leech? Commander Starbase 53. That's me. I still retain the moniker of 53 because it's me. I know there was a Disney show, a Disney movie, Herbie the Love Bug, and had the 53 on it. Yeah, that's fine. Number 53 stuck in my head. Why don't I have a Star Trek base called 53? What the hell? So Starbase 53 was formed and still continues. Not an organization, not a money-making, not a non-profit, just mine. My own thing. My own thing. But shows you how far fandom can actually go when you keep a piece of that for yourself. But I had regretted what I did a long time ago. The host passed away decades ago. I understand concerning about a heart attack or something like that. And that made me sad because I couldn't reconcile. I couldn't make any reconciliations at that point. From the other clubs in my youth, I had tried to make reconciliations, but not nice on those. One did. And at least that was something. I noticed in one particular club that I was in as a youth, trying to be a budding writer, that I can go to extreme measures where the people in the club, I couldn't say got jealous, I probably got terrified, because the way I kept going at things zealously, and wanted to lobotomize my character. Well, we mutually parted ways at that point. Never realized it took a hell of a lot of effort to have my own damn club. But I didn't have that many people joining, so it got disbanded. All in my youth. But when I went to conventions out in Los Angeles and Anaheim and Pasadena, I had met a lot of fans. One time there was an earthquake, Whittier Narrows, just when William Shatner and Leonard Nimoy are trying to finalize their two-man tour, and we get an earthquake in the same damn day. Oh, some things are, well, some things are. You just leave it at that. I have yet to go to a convention, talk to the fans of these days, because I know they're more in tune with a lot of the comics, a lot of the new movies coming out. Yeah, I've seen some of the new movies coming out. I was a fan of Marvel for a long while. I was a fan for Star Wars for a long while, until Disney screwed it over. Thanks a lot, George Lucas. Hey, you may have had reasons to sell out. Should have kept it pure, but he didn't. Things happen. Move on with it. And I've seen the movies. I collected the movies. I still got them Blu-rays and DVDs for collections. Watch them every once in a while. Doesn't mean I agree with them. Hell, I read books regarding the Star Wars canon. Star Wars expanded the universe before Disney screwed it up. I also read a lot of Star Trek books, and the thing is, regarding Star Wars and Star Trek was disjointed. Star Wars kept a timeline. That's what made me more and more interested in Star Wars and Star Trek after time, but I liked Star Trek still. I watched the shows, I collected them as much as I could. So before I collected the materials, I even seen the Discovery. I hadn't seen Picard yet because I'm not paying CBS robbery money for that one. If they've got it on DVD, I'll get it. Give me the DVD collections and I'll be able to see it that better. I'll wait if I have to. But for me being a fan of a genre for all my life, it's heavy dedication. I always liked the name of B. Joe Trimble. Started the Welcome community back in the early 70s. She wanted to keep up with the fandom. She wanted to keep contact with Paramount Studios, with Gene Roddenberry, with all the actors and actresses, and she wanted to keep up with the fans as well, like a clearinghouse, a go-between. And she kept it up for a hell of a long while. She's still energetic. She's still energetic concerning about the subject matter, about everything concerning about Star Trek. She may have her own opinions, and I don't know what they are, but I know she was a fandom powerhouse. If you need to know something about Star Trek, you talk to her about it. These days, I don't know. CBS keeps things on a tight rope. So, some things may have to change. I may not like it, but some things may have to change. Life is like that. Sometimes you get accepted, and other times you just roll with it, and other times you're like, huh? What the hell is happening again? Yeah, I'm still a Trek fan at heart sometimes. I like wearing the Star Trek stuff. I like wearing the theme shirts, the memes, silk screens like this. Show people, yeah, I still like Star Trek, but I also am a geek. I'm a nerd. And if I could wear something Star Wars, I probably will. If I had something like that. I also got into wizarding, into the wizarding world of Harry Potter. And thank you, JK, for that one. Because she opened up a hell of a lot of readers out there for the world of Harry Potter and the magical world out there. Everybody wants to be a wizard or witch, or maybe a troll or something like that. Have your own wizard duels and capes, and school clothing for it, along with Hogwarts. Yeah, well, collected a lot of wizard stuff for that one too. I tell you, it costed me a pretty damn penny over at Universal Studios Hollywood, doing a fandom situation over there. $250 for a cape and wand? And the cape couldn't even fit around me. I still got it. What the hell? Lightsabers, yeah, I got several of those. Cheap plastic pieces of garbage, put them batteries in them, and they still work. I saw that there's a lot of cons out there in social media. On Facebook, I kept running into a few of those like that. They show the professionally made, and they get these pieces of crap overseas. If I was going to get the real pieces of crap, I'd go through Disney on that one. Actually, I did. Got a few of them that way. They make pretty good emergency lights. They do. If you get it attached to the wall somehow, and you get a power outage, well, they're pretty interesting for flashlights. I remember a long time ago, they had those old, when Star Wars came out, some places tried to sell cheap knockoff lightsabers. And you would also have those at, what was it? Ringling Brothers, Marlon and Bailey Circus back in late 70s, early 80s. And they would use them for parking in situations like that. You take the lightsaber portion off it, and you got just a flashlight. Just a flashlight. You keep one of those cones on there, and you got yourself a pretty decent traffic flashlight. I remember those. I remember having a Star Wars shirt when I saw Star Wars. I had a R2-D2 and C-3PO and a Rebel ship. It was light blue. I wore that thing out too in elementary school. I collected dolls, and I had to sell off the dolls in my adulthood. It sucked. Things happen. When you're a fan, if you don't take care of your merchandise somehow, you lose stuff. You have to accept it. They're just things. For some people, it's an investment. I thought they were investments. But I didn't treat them as investments. Just treated them as things, just playthings. Some things you treat them as investments, and then hopefully they'll have some value, and then you get rid of them. For me, having an army full of books, a library full of books, that was my investment for myself growing up as a kid. Multi-subject matters, including Star Wars, Star Trek books. When you're in survival mode, everything goes, including your fandom. But things happen. Next few hours, we're going to have 4 days of Comic-Con going on online. Comiccon.org is going to host their virtual Comic-Con, which a lot of people are going to be joining in and dressing up in costumes and acting real character-wise. Me, on the other hand, just dressed up in a shirt like this and say, okay, fine. Maybe put the hat on. Or maybe put a cape on or something like that. But I know I've gotten too damn old in my thinking and my feelings these days. A lot of things have happened to me that some things just were important to me at one time. They were part of my youth. They were part of the things that kept me going. Part of the things that kept me interested in life. But life has a certain way of teaching you other things that mean a hell of a lot worse and a hell of a lot more than your fandom. I tried to talk about how fandom affects me one way or another and how real life affects me. A lot of my tapings I've done, I've tried to describe a few things about what's going on in my life. This is one of those. If we get past the COVID-19, and if we, I hope, have a chance to have another convention, I'm hoping I'll be able to be alive during that time, hopefully, to go into a convention hall and see what I didn't miss. The actors come up on stage and give their spiel. They would have smaller rooms for workshops, larger room to peddle your wares. And somewhere in there, they would have long lines of people wanting to get scribbles that one day may or may not be worth anything. And if conventions are still like that, then I probably haven't missed much, because I've already did my tour of duty in conventions like that. I've seen the people I wanted to see during that time, and the others, well, I may or may not get a chance to see him in my lifetime at all. And I have to accept that sometimes. There was one lady I wanted to see and shake her hand if I could. And kiss it if I could. But with the COVID-19 going on right now, there's no way in hell that's going to happen. She made a hell of a lot of difference in a hell of a lot of people's lives on a TV show. She was going to quit until Martin Luther King told her not to, because she was a symbol. She became a symbol to a lot of people. In her own way, she became a living legend. And I would have loved to have kissed her hand and tell her, thank you. Thank you, Nyota. A little inside joke, but maybe the actress would get it. Of course, if I happen to mention the character name of Uhura, alarm bells ring up on that one. Ah, and then there's Oh My Takei. Or Takei. George Takei. Good Lord, there's a controversy going on like that. Sometimes he prefers it Takei and Takei, and I don't even know which it is anymore. All I know is Oh My George. A great influence regarding the Los Angeles County and Los Angeles City transportation system. Been a part of the board for a long while with the Metropolitan Transportation Authority we had out here in the Los Angeles area. And other things. A political activist as well. An activist of other things a great deal. So, I guess that's about it. Enough of the long rambling at this point. I'm hoping your day will be a hell of a lot better. We're going to be cooking again. Hopefully not. Maybe I get a chance to get some shopping done today. That'll be nice. Reality kicks in. I have to get shopping done. See, I talk about other things besides the topic matter at this point over here. I like to show different aspects of what I am. I've seen people try to talk and what they're trying to do and trying to say, and they're trying to hold themselves in a different light. I'm like, give me a break. Be real, damn it. You gotta cuss, cuss. You gotta curse, curse. Just don't go overboard on it. Otherwise you'd be a sulky seaman. Speaking of which, for those who have been in the Navy, and for those who've been in the Space Navies, they can start at a right, straight on till morning. Fair winds and following seas.